Hi there, this is David, and today I want to talk about something a little bit personal: getting children into JRPGs. When I was a kid, I personally had troubles with school, troubles with reading, and with math, but I do credit RPGs with helping me through that. While I would study at school, playing RPGs, especially text-heavy, turn-based RPGs, helped me develop critical thinking skills as well as reading comprehension and number sense, which are things that all children need. As a teacher myself, I do know how important it is for children to read and to be exposed to text in all different forms of media. I remember my parents pretty much forcing me to read books that I hated. And instead of making your kids read god-awful Zane Grey westerns from the 50s like my parents did, maybe give them a book about their favorite game. That's how I got into strategy guides. And I know that magazines are kind of a thing of the past, but man, did I love Nintendo Power as well. So, I know that it's important to give children an intrinsic motivation to want to read. And when I was a little boy, my motivation to read was to be able to play my favorite games. So, this all begs the question: as a parent, gunkle, or guardian, how do you introduce turn-based RPGs to the younger generation? When I was a kid, I played what was available. My first RPG was Dragon Quest I, but I really fell in love with Final Fantasy I. I remember playing it backwards and forwards with all the job classes. Then in 4th grade, I got Dragon Quest III, which was just revolutionary for me. Then, of course, all the Golden Age JRPGs released on the SNES, which just cemented my love for the genre when I was in middle school. But times, they are a-changing. And nowadays, you can play pretty much whatever game you want, whenever you want, which is both a blessing and a curse. Through emulation or digital consoles, it's pretty simple to just let small children play the games that you grew up on, however archaic they may be. But another and probably smarter solution is to be able to look out for upgraded clones, or just sequels of those games. However, there's always something to be said for the simplicity of the older games that I grew up on. Think about some things that children like: cartoons, fun, upbeat music, simple, easy to understand storylines, and addictive gameplay. You don't want anything too complex here. Not too many branching storylines or too many side quests to get lost into. You want something engaging and something that they can easily attach to. Secret of Mana was a watershed moment for me. It was one of the very first true action RPGs that I played, and it had everything that I needed in a game. As a kid, this was something that I could personally get lost in. It had beautiful, bright graphics, a fun, linear storyline that I didn't have to think too much about, and great characters. And while it's not too dialogue heavy, the remake recently released on the PlayStation 4 has full voice acting, even for all the NPCs, and the sequel's remake, Trials of Mana, is even better. It's tons of fun, has 6 characters to choose from, 3 different storylines to go through, and the most ridiculous voice acting that you'll ever hear. Kids could just get lost in this fast-paced, fun, cartoony series. Another action RPG that can easily serve as a gateway into more turn-based games is the Kingdom Hearts series. If this franchise was a thing whenever I was a kid, I would be all about it. I mean, Final Fantasy and Disney together? What more could you possibly want? The kids will undoubtedly already know who the Disney characters are, and this fun series can introduce some of the stars of the Final Fantasy series too. And while they'll fall in love with Sora, Donald, and Goofy, I think that they'll also be intrigued by Cloud, Squall, and Sephiroth, especially now that all of the one package is released for the PlayStation 4 for only $20, so you get 10 games in one easy purchase, and I can guarantee you that that will keep your kids busy for quite a long time. Once the kiddos are exposed and introduced to the Final Fantasy characters of Kingdom Hearts, it's time to introduce that series to them as well, and what better way to do it than with the brand new Pixar remasters. As we all know, not all Final Fantasies are created equal, so we have to look back at the ones that are the easiest to get into. And coincidentally, those are the ones that were originally released here in America: 1, 4, and 6. Japan thought that Americans were too stupid for the more complex ones, 2 with its obtuse stat progression system, and then 3 and 5 with their job systems. The Pixar remasters are also, as a whole, much easier than the original releases, so the grinding that we all had to do as children is a thing of the past. It's also pretty nice that they're relatively linear and straightforward, well, except for that World of Ruin in 6, but there's a reason why I didn't beat that till I was in high school myself. Now, we can't talk about Final Fantasy without talking about Dragon Quest. While Final Fantasy can change with every entry, Dragon Quest is always tried and true. And while it was my first JRPG, it might not be the best series to introduce to children, unless they really show an interest in the genre, like I did. They are slower paced, and the older ones can be a bit archaic, and they don't have that flash in the pan that games have nowadays. But they do have heart. The easiest ones to get into would probably be the more modern ones, such as 8, and especially the newer 11. The cartoony, vibrant world that the games create, along with the simple, turn-based gameplay, is like catnip to me. I just keep on coming back for more. Some of the easier games in this series to get into besides the aforementioned 8 and 11 would be the linear 4 with its chapter system, or 5 with its Pokemon monster capturing system, and then of course 3. But I would wait until the HD 2D remake is out. That thing just looks sweet. Maybe play that one along with your kids. I mean, there's no better way to bond with your children than to share an experience along with them. Maybe one that you even grew up with Dragon Warrior 3. Then there's the RPGs that are based off of popular games that your children would undoubtedly already be a fan of, such as Paper Mario and the Mario & Luigi series. I know that Paper Mario is a shell of what it once was, but it's nothing if not simple. Whereas Final Fantasy Mystic Quest was our baby's first JRPG back when, Paper Mario, with its simplistic combat, small numbers, and easy-to-follow story, is this generation's baby's first JRPG. The Mario and Luigi RPGs are so much better though, with puzzle-solving elements, humor, colorful graphics, and easy-to-understand battles and skills. Honestly, I would say that if your children are showing any interest whatsoever in Mario, pick them up a Mario RPG and then just go right along with it. Now, I've saved the best for last, the elephant in the room, Pokemon. Don't ask me why this is so addictive, but the gotta catch 'em all philosophy has been working since the 90s. Growing up, I used to love that old Super Mario Bros. Super Show that came on, along with the special Friday Zelda episodes. And then later on in the 90s, there was a Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon as well as Captain N, and I enjoyed both of them, even though I never had a Sega, and I never played Sonic. There's just something to be said about how watching cartoons gave me a special connection to the game series as well. If you have a Switch, and let's face it, what parent of young children doesn't, Pokemon will be a great investment for a young child to get their first taste of what a true turn-based JRPG is all about. The dialogue and story isn't too heavy, it teaches number sense as well as critical thinking in regards to strategy, and all the different designs are sure to spur upon a child's imagination. It really is interesting to see just how far we've come in regards to children and gaming. I remember hearing whenever I was a kid that all that Nintendo junk was just a stupid fad, and it would all just vanish one day. But as we can see, that's not the case. Gaming is being accepted by society. Esports are now a thing, and honestly, it's better to be actively gaming than to just be passively watching TV instead, because it really does engage the child's brain, their imagination, problem-solving skills, reading and number sense in a way that just watching the TV show passively doesn't. Also, nowadays there are so many more books related to video games which you could buy to get the little kids reading even more. Gaming can actually be a gateway into really good things, and sharing your personal love of games with your children and bonding together with those shared experiences will create lasting memories that both of you can treasure forever. So don't pass this up. If you have an opportunity to get your children into video gaming, I highly recommend that you do so. This has been David, and if you like this video and want to do here on the channel, please consider supporting me over on Patreon for exclusive videos and early access to my content, heading on over to Twitch for some streaming fun, or coming on over to the Discord to chat and hang out. The links to them can be found in the video description. If you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.